You know what makes me absolutely sick? The fact that we just witnessed what might be the most brutal, most sadistic, most unnecessary attack in SmackDown history, and some of you are actually celebrating it. Uncle Howdy and his demented Wyatt Sicks didn't just attack Solo Sikoa on the 28th of November, they tried to end his career, they tried to end his life, and the worst part, this wasn't about justice. This wasn't about revenge. This was pure, unadulterated evil, and if you can't see that, then you're just as twisted as they are. I don't care if you hate Solo Sikoa. I don't care if you think he deserves punishment for his actions as the tribal chief. What happened on SmackDown wasn't wrestling, it was an assault. It was 5 masked psychopaths deciding they have the right to play judge, jury, and executioner, and the fact that WWE allowed this to happen on national television should terrify every single fan watching. But here's what really gets under my skin, and tell me in the comments if you disagree. The Wyatt Sicks act like they are some kind of righteous force, like they are cleansing WWE of its sins, but who gave them that authority? Who died and made Uncle Howdy the moral compass of professional wrestling? The hypocrisy is staggering, and we need to talk about it. Let's rewind to what actually went down on SmackDown, because if you missed it, you need to understand the sheer brutality we're dealing with here. Solo Sikoa was scheduled for a standard interview segment backstage. Nothing unusual, nothing that would indicate what was about to happen. He was talking about reclaiming his position at the head of the table, discussing his future plans, being the competitor he's always been, and then the lights went out. Now, we've seen the lights go out before. We know that's the Wyatt Sicks calling card. But what followed wasn't just an attack. It was a statement written in blood and broken bones. When those lights came back on, Solo was surrounded. Uncle Howdy stood directly in front of him, that grotesque mask hiding whatever humanity, if any, remains behind it. Erick Rowan, Dexter Lumis, Gacy, and Nikki Cross formed a circle around him like vultures circling their prey. And here's where it gets really disturbing, they didn't rush him. They didn't just jump him all at once. No, they psychologically tortured him first. Uncle Howdy tilted his head in that signature creepy way, and you could see Solo looking for an exit, calculating his options, knowing he was trapped. The fear in his eyes was real, and the Wyatt Sicks enjoyed it. They fed off it like the parasites they are. Quick question for you, drop your answer in the comments. Who do you think is the most dangerous member of the Wyatt Sicks? Is it Uncle Howdy with his mind games, or is it someone else in that twisted family? When the attack finally began, it was coordinated. It was calculated. Erick Rowan, that mountain of a man, grabbed Solo first and delivered a spinning slam that shook the entire backstage area. Before Solo could even process what happened, Dexter Lumis locked him in that modified silent submission hold, wrenching back on his neck like he was trying to snap it clean off. Gacy was stomping away at his ribs with a smile on his face, an actual smile, while Nikki Cross shrieked and laughed like this was the greatest entertainment she'd ever witnessed. But Uncle Howdy? He just watched. He orchestrated the whole thing like a conductor leading a symphony of violence. And when his family members had sufficiently softened Solo up, when the tribal chief's former enforcer was barely conscious and bleeding from multiple wounds, that's when Uncle Howdy decided to make his presence felt. The Sister Abigail that Uncle Howdy delivered wasn't just a finishing move, it was an execution. He cradled Solo's head with mock tenderness, whispered something we couldn't hear into his ear, and then spiked him headfirst into the concrete floor with such force that you could hear the impact echo throughout the arena. Solo's body went limp, completely limp, and the Wyatt Sicks just stood there, admiring their handiwork like artists proud of their latest masterpiece. Here's what the WWE Universe needs to understand, and I'm getting heated just thinking about it, this wasn't a wrestling angle. This crossed into territory that makes everyone uncomfortable, and it should make you uncomfortable. The Wyatt Sicks have been positioned as this supernatural force of nature since they arrived, carrying on Bray Wyatt's legacy, and yes, we all miss Bray. We all respect what he built, but this perverted version of his vision is an insult to his memory. Bray Wyatt told stories. He created characters that made you think. The Fiend was terrifying, yes, but there was artistry to it. There was method to the madness. What we're seeing now with the Wyatt Sicks is just unchecked violence masquerading as storytelling, and Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas behind that mask, should be ashamed of what this has become. Let me ask you something else, and be honest in the comments, do you think the Wyatt Sicks have gone too far, or is this exactly what WWE needs right now to feel dangerous again? Now, let's talk about Solo Sikoa for a minute, because he's become a polarizing figure, hasn't he? When Roman Reigns left after WrestleMania, Solo tried to take control of the bloodline. He brought in Tamar Tonga, Tona Loa, and Jacob Fatu. He declared himself the tribal chief. He made enemies of Jimmy Uso, G Uso, and even Sami Zayn. His ruthless pursuit of power made him one of the most despised figures on SmackDown, and I get that some of you think he had it coming. But here's the thing, nobody deserves what happened to him. Nobody deserves to be ambushed by 5 people and beaten within an inch of their life. We can dislike Solo's character, we can boo him every time he comes out, but we're supposed to be fans of wrestling, not sadistic spectators who cheer for potential career-ending injuries. Where's the line? When did we become so disincentivized that we can watch a man get his head driven into concrete and think, yeah, that's entertainment? The aftermath of this attack has been equally disturbing. Reports from backstage indicate that Solo had to be stretchered out of the arena. He was transported to a local medical facility for evaluation. Potential concussion, potential spinal injuries, potential everything. And while Solo is in a hospital bed wondering if his career is over, Uncle Howdy cut a promo on the WWE app acting like he's some kind of hero. Acting like he's cleaning up WWE. Acting like he's the good guy in this scenario. The delusion is mind-blowing. Uncle Howdy talks about how WWE has become corrupt, how it needs to be purified, how the Wyatt Sicks are the cleansing fire that will burn away the impurities. But you know what I see? I see a group of bitter, angry individuals who hide behind masks and horror movie aesthetics because they don't have the talent or the charisma to succeed on their own merits. Think about it, and tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. Every single member of the Wyatt Sicks had careers before this. Some were successful, some weren't. But instead of working harder, instead of evolving as performers, they've chosen to hide behind this twisted gimmick and use fear and violence as their only tools. That's not revolutionary, that's cowardice. What really concerns me moving forward is the precedent this sets. If the Wyatt Sicks can attack Solo Sikoa with impunity, who's next? They've already made it clear that they view themselves as above WWE's rules. They don't answer to management. They don't answer to the locker room. They barely even answer to the laws of physics with their supernatural presentation. So where does it end? Is Cody Rhodes safe? Is LA Knight safe? Is anyone who's achieved success in WWE safe from these masked vigilantes who've appointed themselves as the arbiters of who deserves to be in this business? Because that's exactly what they are doing. They are deciding who's worthy and who isn't, and they are carrying out their judgments with extreme prejudice. One more question for the comment section. If you were a WWE superstar, would you want to stand against the Wyatt Sicks, or would you stay out of their way and hope they never target you? The SmackDown locker room's reaction has been telling too. Some superstars are reportedly terrified. Others are angry but don't know how to respond. A few, and this disgusts me, are privately glad that someone took Solo down a peg. But here's what nobody is doing. Nobody's actually standing up to the Wyatt Sicks. Nobody's forming an alliance to fight back. Nobody's saying, enough is enough, we're taking our show back from these psychopaths. And that silence? That complicity? It's going to embolden Uncle Howdy and his family to go further. Mark my words, this attack on Solo Sikoa was just the beginning. They are going to escalate. They are going to choose a bigger target next time. And when they do, and when someone else ends up stretched out of an arena with their career in jeopardy, all of you who are celebrating this right now are going to have blood on your hands too. The most frustrating part about all of this is that WWE is letting it happen. Adam Pearce hasn't suspended anyone. Nick Aldis hasn't banned them from SmackDown. There have been zero consequences for what was essentially a felonious assault captured on camera. If this happened in any other workplace, the police would be involved. There would be arrests. There would be accountability. But in WWE's twisted logic, this is just good television. This is generating buzz. This is giving fans something to talk about. Well, congratulations WWE, we're talking about it. We're talking about how you've created an environment where masked individuals can nearly murder someone on your show and face absolutely no repercussions whatsoever. So here's my final question for all of you watching, and I want thousands of comments on this. What should happen next? Should WWE finally step in and disband the Wyatt Sicks? Should Solo Sikoa get back up when he returns and wage war against them? Should the entire roster unite to eliminate this threat? Or should we just accept that SmackDown now belongs to Uncle Howdy and his family of freaks, and everyone else is just living in their world? This storyline has divided the WWE universe like nothing else in recent memory, and whether you love it or hate it, you can't deny it's got everyone talking. But at what cost? When does entertainment cross into exploitation? When does edgy become dangerous? These are questions WWE needs to answer, and fast. Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button if this made you feel something, and subscribe to Wrestling Zone 1 for more brutally honest wrestling analysis. Because unlike WWE, we're not afraid to ask the tough questions.